The Royals blew another save last night, and this time it was with 2 outs and 2 strikes in the 9th inning. But that's not what we're here to talk about right now. We're going to talk about some interesting coaching decisions, to say the least, that took place in extra innings. But real quick before we get into it, I just want to make it clear the Royals had 14 hits, left 16 on base, and they had 14 left on base before they had scored more than 1 run. I understand that there are much bigger issues than just management decisions, and whether those are the responsibility of the hitting coach or you believe every player on our team is just that unclutch, I don't care. Just want to get that out of the way. You can think whatever you want. I'm just going over the decisions that were made. So, it's the top of the 10th and Daniel Lynch is in. Daniel Lynch has quietly been our best and most consistent reliever. He's really looked dominant more than he ever has in his career, and the only game that he gave up runs in was during essentially a flash flood on the field where really no one was able to locate any pitches or get their footing down on the mound. So Lynch comes in and retires 3 batters in a row on 7 pitches. Keep in mind for later that he's often been the guy to be a length reliever in our bullpen. He often comes in if we need 2 or even 3 innings out of someone. So anyways, we go to the bottom of the 10th, tied 1-1. We start with a runner on second because that's how extra innings work. And all we need is 1 run to walk off and win the game. We pinch run Lane Thomas for Carter Jensen, which is completely understandable, but if you're going to do that, you better hope you score a run. Nick Lofton is at the plate, and the first pitch from the Baltimore pitcher is a strike down the middle near the bottom of the zone. Now, there's a textbook way to handle this situation. As a manager, you have your batter lay down a sacrifice bunt. You get your runner who is on second base to advance to third, and then almost anything can score that runner. A sacrifice fly, a single, obviously, even ground balls to the right side of the infield. Getting that runner over to third is 100% worth an out. But Matt Quatrero doesn't have Lofton do this. In fact, Lofton would only show bunt once, and he'd take it away for a ball. And I believe the only reason he was doing that is because the fielders had started to back away a little, not playing him as close. So he did that to get them as close as possible for a possible base hit. A base hit would not happen. A bunt would not happen. The runner would not move over. Instead, Nick Lofton would walk. And usually a walk is a pretty decent outcome, but this time, that's not the case. Because you're putting someone on first base and opening up the possibility for a double play. And now you don't have a runner on third. So when Jack hits the first pitch from the Baltimore pitcher to center field, you would have won the game. But instead, you get 1 out and don't advance any. Oh, wait. Oh. So now you have 2 outs. Now, going back to the Jack flyout, I understand that if there is a runner on third, the pitcher might have a different approach. Maybe he makes it a little harder for Jack to hit it to center field. I get that, okay? We can't know what would have happened in that situation, but what we do know is we would have gotten a hell of a lot closer to scoring. And the other thing we know is if there's anybody on this team that's good for a nice fly ball to the outfield, it's Jack. But alas, Isaac Collins grounds out, the inning is over, and so is any momentum we might have had. Luckily, our length reliever, Daniel Lynch, is back on the mound and ready to continue showing just how much better he's gotten this year. And he immediately makes that known with a strikeout of the first batter. Gunnar Henderson. Maybe you've heard of him. So he continues Wait. What? What? But he's only thrown 11 pitches. Why would we? What? What? Not only are we taking out our best pitcher right now, who is fine to throw multiple innings, we're taking him out for John Schreiber, who is known in this fan base to give up games, who has a 6.14 ERA so far this year, and also has the most appearances of any pitcher on our team. And you may say, but Tyler, a power righty is coming up in Taylor Ward, so Q wanted to go to the righty instead of keeping the lefty in. And to that, I would tell you, Daniel Lynch has had reverse splits for almost every season of his career, but especially recently. Reverse splits meaning he is better against righties than he is against lefties. This shouldn't really even matter because he's been doing so good against both this year that we don't need to make this a platoon situation. But on top of all of that, first base is open. So you can just pitch around Taylor Ward, not throw him any strikes that he can smash, and you can put him on first base, worst case scenario, and open up the opportunity for a double play. And then you have a lefty coming up right after him. But it seems, both on offense and defense, the idea of a double play has completely skipped manager Matt Quatrero's mind. Speaking of that lefty, Dylan Beavers, John Schreiber would give up a hit. Baltimore would go up 2-1. And eventually, the Royals would lose the game. After the game, on the subject of manager Matt Quatrero, JJ Piccolo had this to say. I think Quatrero's steadiness is what allows us to do things well and right the ship. I think the coaches put the hitters in a really good spot, the pitchers in a really good spot to go compete. In the end, I think the players will tell you they're the ones that have to go out and execute. I don't see any problems with our processes. I think there are some signs that our processes are good. We just haven't gotten the results yet. If you're unfamiliar with JJ Piccolo is the guy that gave this guy $5 million. The Royals have the worst record in the MLB alone.